my name's Andy Payne, and today I'm going to take you through a chair-based exercise routine. This routine will last about 30 minutes. It will take you through some flexibility exercises, some aerobic fitness, some balance and some strength exercises. So the way in which we're going to start today's session is simply by mobilising the shoulders. So I'm sitting up nice and straight away from the back of my chair. I'm sat in the front half or third of the chair. I'm going to drop my hands to the sides. I'm going to lift and lower my shoulders. Lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. So the shoulder muscles, the shoulder joints are used in any exercise that involves use of our arms, and as a result they're often quite stiff, they can get quite tight, and it's really important that they remain mobile and strong as we get a bit older. Lifting and lowering, shrugging up towards the ears and back down nice and gently. All of the exercises in today's session can be made smaller or slower, and I encourage you to take breaks wherever you need to. Lifting and lowering. And from here, let's go to shoulder circles. Nice big circles. We tend to do our shoulder circles backwards because a lot of the shoulder girdle can become tight and quite often is in a rolled forward position. In this case, we're trying to roll the shoulders back and just begin to stretch through the rotator cuff. Rolling your shoulders. Nice big circles. From here, let's go to crossing our arms and opening. Cross and open. Each time I'm crossing and opening, you'll see that I'm bringing the other arm to the top. So left arm at the top and then right arm at the top. So all of your exercises in this session today can be done completely seated, as I am, completely freestanding, or standing with support, so perhaps you'll put the chair to one side and rest one or both hands on that chair to give you support. The most important part of this process is your safety, so exercise at a level which means you remain safe throughout. Moving on from here, let's do a little bit of work with the lower part of the body. So lifting one heel and then the other. So I'm lifting left, and right. This is to mobilise my ankles and to contract the calf muscles in the back of my lower legs. Lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. The next stage of this is to coordinate between the upper body and the lower body. So one of my favourites is to do big eights with my arms. That movement can be made smaller and slower as needs be. I like this movement, so I tend to make my eights quite big. From here, let's change direction. That usually causes a little bit of confusion. The response I often get is, "But Andy, the movement's the same." It always makes me smile. Heels lifting throughout, nice big eight shapes. Change direction again. Moving on from here, I'm going to step out and back, out and back. Again, we're coordinating between upper and lower body. We're challenging those neuromuscular pathways from the brain right down to our feet. From here we might do box step. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Swap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Keep going. Doing really well. So here you might feel that you're getting slightly out of breath even if you're working in a chair. All of these exercises, as I said, can be done freestanding or to the chair to one side to support you and keep you safe. Change. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Moving on to jogging then. With this one, if we momentarily raise our hands above our head, then the heart rate is going to quicken. The vascular system does become slightly more stressed if we take the hands over the head. Notice that I'm moving quite quickly. I'm still sat away from the back of the chair, and that's causing my core muscles to work for me. Keep marching. Doing really well. Excellent, keep that marching going. As you lift your knees, you may well find that you can feel your tummy muscles working. If you get any backache at all, please make that movement smaller, slower, or stop for a rest. Okay, let's do 10 more seconds of this one. 10, 9, 8, well done, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. So the next part of today's exercise session, we are going to be working with a resistance band. If you haven't got a resistance band, please continue to do the movements without any equipment at all, or you may choose to fill 2 water bottles. Make sure the lids are done up. We don't want any accidents. And you could use those quite easily for different strength exercises as we go on through today's session. Okay, so the first one I start with is a row. It's a pulling action. So I'm turning my palms up to the ceiling. I'm going to create some tension in my band. And I'm going to pull the band apart, keeping my elbows back and down, draw towards my body. Pull apart and draw in. Well done. Number 3, apart and draw in, forward and relax. 4, good job, stay sitting up nice and tall. 5, good, elbows stay down. 6, 7, well done, great exercise for posture, pulling my scapula back towards my spine. 8, 9, good job, and number 10 coming up. So you saw that I did 10 reps of that exercise. Of course, if you're not able to do 10 reps, perhaps it's best that you start with 6 and you do them really slowly and carefully, and you build up from there. Okay, moving on from our pulling movement. So that exercise may be particularly useful for pulling things towards us, pulling up the bed covers, maybe even putting on socks or pulling up your trousers. So all of these exercises have a functional place in our day-to-day lives. Next part of this session, I'm going to do some pushing movements. That will help my chest muscles, it will help my deltoids, and it will help my triceps. My core muscles work throughout as I'm sitting up nice and tall anyway. So you've got 2 options with this one. You can go around the back of the chair. For some people in our regular class, that's just a little bit too much to ask from the shoulder in terms of mobility. So in this case, I'm going to pop the band across my own back. I'm going to take my hands out in front of me, pushing away, keeping the elbows slightly soft, and then returning. Push away and back. So this exercise is particularly useful to train and work the muscles which we use in our pushing plane. This will be helpful for us when we go to push doors to open them. So although these are quite simple movements, they are really useful to us in our day-to-day lives. Let's do 2 more of those. Push and back, push and back. Excellent. So let's go back to rowing. Cross the palms, palms facing up to the ceiling, pulling apart and in, forward and relax. Elbows stay nice and tight. Chest stretches, shoulder blades draw back. Sitting up nice and tall throughout. Notice I'm breathing as normal. Well done, guys. Keep going. And let's do 4 more of those. So 4. Working at a really well considered intentional pace. 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Going across the back again, let's go to chest press. So across my back, taking the band to a point which is comfortable. Pushing out, knuckles up to the ceiling and back. Out and back. My elbows are staying just very slightly soft as I push and return, push and return. Let's do 4 more of these. 4, good job. 3, feel those muscles working. 2 and 1. Excellent, okay. Moving on from here, let's do a little bit of work with the legs, the lower half of the body. I like to fold my band in half for this one. A little bit of tension into the band. Hands on top of the thighs, coming out to the side and side. Notice as I come out to the sides, my knees stay in line with my toes. Here we're working the medial glute. The glute muscles are split into 3 separate muscles. So 2 glutes, 3 muscles on each side. Glute max, the biggest, fleshiest one. Glute min, the little one. And then glute med, which is the one we're now working, allows us to create this hip abduction movement. Healthy mobile hips are both strong and able to move. And having healthy, strong mobile hips will support our lower back and quite often can save us from pain in the lower back, lower spine. And 4, 3, 2 and 1. Okay. Moving on from here, again we'll do a further leg exercise. I take the band underneath the sole of my foot, coming up and in, out and down. As my heel comes to the ground, I've got a very slightly soft knee, drawing in and down, up and in, out and down. Sitting up nice and tall throughout. As I bring my limb in, I can feel my tummy muscles working. It's really important as much as possible to keep your shoulders back over your hips as you do this. And let's do 2 more. 1 and 2. Well done. Moving over to the other side, exactly the same thing on the other side. Notice that as I work here, I'm thinking about keeping that leg nice and straight as it comes out towards you. We don't necessarily want the knee or the limb to travel out to one side or the other, up and in, out and down. Soft knee, heel down to the ground and return. Well done guys, doing really well. Can you feel those muscles working? This one is predominantly working the front upper thigh. Those muscles are helpful to us in walking, sitting, standing from the chair, and for climbing stairs and steps as we go about our day-to-day lives. Okay, let's do 2 more of these. 2 and 1. Excellent. Let's go back to hip abduction. So I'm folding my band in half. This one is quite long and quite light. It may be sufficient for you if you're working with a heavier band, just to keep the band singly across your thighs. Put my hands onto the thighs, coming out to the side, back to the centre, out to the side and back. So it's really important as we age that we remain fit and healthy. Very important for you to keep your hydration levels up, to stay nourished, lots of fruits and lots of vegetables, and to stay active. As we age, we tend to become more sedentary and less active, and that causes sarcopenia, which is muscle wastage as a result of age. So what we're doing with these bands is we're challenging those muscles, we're then allowing them to adapt, be nourished and to rest, and that will help us to remain strong and independent as we go through the aging process. Twice more on each side. 2 and 1, 2 and 1. Excellent. One last time then with the band underneath the foot. Up and in, out and down. Up and in and down. Again, I'm sitting up nice and tall. Core muscles are working for me throughout as I work to keep my shoulders over my hips. Let's do 3 more. 1, good. Soft knee as your heel comes down. 2 and 3. Let's go over to the other side then. Heel under the centre of the foot, that's the best place for it to be. It stays anchored there more easily than if we put it on our heels or our toes. So band directly into the centre of the foot, up and in, out and down, up, in and down. You notice as I work with the band, I'm trying to keep my neck and shoulders relaxed. If you feel particularly tight in the neck and shoulders, just have a little bit of a wriggle and jiggle. One of my favourite terms is a wriggle and jiggle. It makes me smile and it also relaxes the tension in the body that can sometimes be created by these exercise routines. Okay, last 2 guys, you're doing really well. 2, lovely, and last one coming up. Excellent. So today we've done our pushing, our pulling, some abduction and some knee flexion. So all of those exercises are really helpful in our day-to-day lives and help to keep our muscles and our joints strong. And we've just got a couple of really simple exercises to practice. So I'll start with using the chair and we begin with a pigeon step. Taking one hand onto the chair, I literally will put my heels to my toes and walk forward. And then step back. to keep my hips up, facing forward, and my shoulders back. I'm referencing a straight line in the room. Moving on from there, we can go to what I call the flamenco stance, or flamingo stance, should I say. You know, those pretty pink bird things with the long legs. Okay, so take your hand onto the chair and literally going to stand on one leg. If I possibly can, I'm going to take the hands off of the chair to challenge my balance. Return to the chair if you need to, and then I'm going to swap sides. And swap sides again. And finally for today, we're going to do a little bit of stretching and some Tai Chi inspired movements. So, flexibility coming next. I'm going to take my two hands onto the back of the chair and I'm going to lean forward to give me my stretch. This is stretching through the chest and through the shoulders. You can hold these stretches for anything up to 30 seconds, and you could indeed practice them multiple times a day. This exercise is drawing my scapula back towards my spine. If I found this particularly difficult, I'd run the hands down, further down the back of the chair, and I just wouldn't be leaning quite so far forward. From here, let's go to the hug a tree stretch, taking the hands out in front of me at shoulder height with my fingertips went together and progressing my hands forward. This gives me a lovely stretch through my upper back. From here I take the hands over the head, drop the hands down on one side, come back to the centre and down on the other side. From here, let's go to hamstring stretch. So in keeping one knee bent, I extend this leg out in front of me, leaning forward and down, keeping the back nice and straight, both hands on my knee. And then I carefully swap over to the other side. Nice straight back, both hands on the bent knee. This is stretching my hamstring, the back of the knee up towards my glute. And finishing with some Tai Chi inspired movements. One hand faces the ceiling, one hand faces down to my knee. I swap position. Nice gentle movements to down-regulate the neuromuscular system. And from here we'll go to a positive visualization. So up through the centre of the window, out to the sides, down, into the middle, centre again, rotate the palms, opening the curtains. Nice big sun rising. The sun rises over a glittering sea. As we live in Brighton, it's not long until the rain clouds arrive, so big fluffy clouds with your hands. And from here, the rain comes down. And in Andy's world, miraculously, the rain also moves upwards. So that's our exercise session for today. We've been through flexibility, aerobic fitness, balance and strength, with a little bit of Tai Chi movement at the end to down-regulate the neuromuscular system. Thank you very much for joining me.